So I took this camera out yesterday just before a storm to do a hike through the woods and do a little bit of a review of this camera versus a regular GoPro. As I was doing my hike, a storm passed overhead and it was pretty scary. So check out the review and stay tuned to the end to see the storm in action and how I got really frightened. It's pretty interesting.
Southwestern Tuscaloosa County, southeastern Pickens County, northeastern Greene County until 12:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. At 11:32 a.m. Central Standard Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Mantua, or tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely.
So to be fair to myself, I'm not a complete and total moron, even though I may look like one in this video. I did not intend to go out and be in the middle of a storm outdoors. I didn't know how bad it was going to be, number one, and I thought that I could get into the woods and out of the woods on a short hike before the storm hit. And I think I had a mistake in judgment maybe, but it's still, the result was interesting and I accomplished my mission, so everything I feel was okay as a result. So anyway, enjoy.
Building. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued.
Wow. I mean, how bad could it be? All right. So yeah, like I said, we're in the middle of a tornado warning. I don't think there's going to be a ton of difference in these two cameras on a selfie stick, but hopefully there's enough so maybe you can get an idea. Lock up my truck, make sure it's locked now. So yeah, there's a tornado coming. I don't know if it's coming towards me. I've kind of always had the opinion that there's only so much you can do. I know it's kind of like vaccines. I'm not anti-vaxxer, but vaccines protect the herd, and the warnings protect the herd the same way. And I am so atypical of herd that I guess that's just probably one of my things. Is, man, talk about a freaking widowmaker. This is so precarious, especially in this wind. Man, there's just nothing there, but that tree could kill you. This tree could hurt you, but it looks a lot more solid than that thing. That thing's hanging by a thread. In fact, I may push that over on the way back up. So anyway, tornadoes. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of always had that opinion. I think when I was a kid, I was really enamored with the whole, oh, death is coming, let's go hide in the basement. And all the women in my life have always been like that too. My mother, every woman I've ever dated has always been, oh, we got to go hide. And, it's a system to protect the herd. It's not, any one individual is not really at risk. It's the herd. If everybody gets in the basement, everybody goes down into the bunker, certainly a lot less people will be injured and killed in, a tornado. And tornadoes, if you live in another part of the country, are kind of a unique thing to certain parts of the country. Mostly, middle, south, Midwest, kind of Oklahoma, Texas area, and east typically, you know, so Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. I just don't remember a lot of Louisiana hurricanes or tornadoes. Lots of hurricanes in Louisiana, but it's really quite a few in Oklahoma, quite a few in Kansas. And then I just think it seems like it always skips. It always skips around Kansas, Texas, Oklahoma, and then it kind of seems like, I don't know, maybe I'm just nuts. Wow, here's another widowmaker. Man, there's been a lot of trees been down here since the last time I was down here. These are nasty ones. Well, I guess the Corps of Engineers is not going to come down here and take care of any of this. But anyway, tornadoes. I'm kind of I'm not part of the herd, and I like storms. So, you know, it's pretty exciting for me being out in the storm. I don't know if you can hear the sirens going off. I'm going to have to synchronize the sound on this one since I'm not on the bike, so you can hear the sound from each one. I think that'll be interesting. Also, one of the things that I was trying to say when I first started walking was selfie sticks eliminate a lot of the instability of cameras immediately. I've been a big proponent of selfie sticks for everything, not just selfies and filming yourself, but filming anything. If you take your camera, the best example I always give is everybody's got a camera phone, regardless of how good a quality that phone is. It's still a phone with a camera, and I've always been a big proponent of, you know, hey, you don't have to buy a camera. You've got one in your pocket, and people just don't use them enough. And I think the biggest reason, one of the biggest reasons may be it's so hard to film with your, well, here's, as far as I'm concerned, this is one of the biggest problems, is all the video that's shot, 90% of the stuff that's shot out there is shot like this, portrait mode, not landscape. You're cutting off half the frame when you shoot like this. And people have argued with me over and over, and they're always wrong because they see the world like this. They look at their phone like this. They never turn it like that, and I don't know why. Because you get so much more picture, and people just don't. They either don't get it, they're hard-headed, or their world is squished into a screen that looks like this. If you're taking pictures of a skyscraper, yeah, maybe. I mean, I used to shoot with a DSLR. Same concept. You shoot normally with a regular standard camera like that, believe it or not. Just most people don't have any idea about photography or cameras or anything like that. But this is the frame that you shoot with a standard camera. Video camera, film camera, DSLR, pocket, everything. This is how you shoot. Every once in a while, you want to emphasize the subject. A beautiful female that's standing close by, you turn it like this because you're emphasizing the subject. But what you never want to do is emphasize the wrong subject and cut off half your frame. But that's one of the things people just don't understand. You can never get them to understand it because their world is lived on a phone. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but I am talking, and hopefully you'll get to see some comparison between these two cameras, and that's really two purposes. I haven't been hiking down in this part of this is a hiking trail, and I rode my motorcycle down here a while back just for a quick glimpse. Man, there's a bunch of dead pine in here. I guess it's not any more than the other side. There's another hiking trail on the other side of the road at the boat ramp, and think this one's a lot easier. That's like it's like a black diamond over there. It's not for old people. Or old people hiking by themselves, at least. So again, I'm going back to the selfie stick. The selfie stick I promote it highly, especially with camera phones, because it stabilizes the image automatically. It kind of floats, like, you know, that in itself is not stable, but you don't get a lot of this. You know, you don't get a lot of back and forth, which is a kind of a natural thing. Kind of coming undone here. Kind of a natural thing with a handheld camera. So my guess is the first problem is everybody's filming in portrait mode, which sucks. And the second issue is maybe that the filming with your camera is so shaky and so unstable, but you can solve all those problems and take the damn thing out of your hand. I learned this trick a while back. Back when I started shooting a lot of action footage, I was trying to build a custom stabilization machine so I could run with the camera. Used to film my dogs and other dogs, and in a big field we had greyhounds, and we used to run them, and they're so fast. But I also wanted to get some action shots and run alongside them, and, you know, not just that, but move with the dogs as much as I could. And everything was shaky and, you know, hard to watch. So I started experimenting with stabilization. You've probably seen the big camera rig with the harness, the movie stabilization rigs. Big harness, got a big stabilized arm that comes out here, and it mounts on this huge cameras that they used to use. And that's amazing. I mean, it looks, you can run with one of those rigs, and, you know, it gyro stabilizes the camera, so you can run with it and it looks like the camera's on a rail. It's just amazing. A little bit of movement, but not much. And, you know, fast forward 12 years and we've got stabilization inside the camera, which this camera has amazing stabilization. It's probably the best I've ever seen. This camera, it doesn't have onboard stabilization, but it does have a stabilized platform, which is the selfie stick, which goes back to why, oh, somebody has been in here and cut some trees. That looks like it's been a while since it's been cut, but somebody came in here and cut some trees. So that's good. Somebody's maintaining the trail, whether it's Corps of Engineers or not. So now I may get some amazing footage of some tornadoes out here. I don't know. This camera may actually capture my death. But, you know, I kind of feel like there's enough of these drainages that I can get down in and keep from getting swept up in the wind, and hopefully not too many trees coming down on my head. So I'm still not really worried about it. Oh, look, there's more grills up here. How about that? All right. Well, so yeah, how about that thunder? Oh yeah, there's another trail going down there. All right. Man, all right. So yeah, this is a really nice trail. I wonder if that's marked as a trail. It doesn't look like that's marked as a trail. So yeah, anyway, so this is very similar to what was at my other camp spot, my other stealth camping spot. Maybe this is going to be very similar to the last campsite I had, except there doesn't appear to be any vault toilets. Man, it's kind of odd though if you think about it. You got all these grills set up out here that are still completely usable, looks like. Oh geez, about to get wet. So there's a well back there, and I don't know, maybe the camping was down here and you just came up here to cook. I don't know. Anyway, this was a good trip. Maybe I can get back to the bus before. Maybe I can get back to the bus before the tornado hits. And you know, maybe this is this may be one of those cautionary tales. All right, there's another trail that goes off here. I am going to take my time getting back. I am not in a hurry to get back. So I'm also going to mark these trailheads. All right, so my only real concern at this point is making sure my camera doesn't get wet. I'm wearing a, man, I'm bouncing the camera. I am wearing a rain jacket, but I don't have any upper pockets, so I may have to hold on to my phone inside the jacket if it gets really stormy. I just had to get out. It's such a nice day, even though it's gloomy and cloudy and threatening. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you about the cameras, the DJI, but I would highly recommend, and I'll take some pictures of that, of this mount, or this selfie stick I'm using. It's a really nice selfie stick. It's very cheap. I don't want to say very cheap. It's cheap. It's as cheap as any of the other selfie sticks. But it is very flexible. In other words, it's got flexibility in uses. It also doubles as a tripod, so you can put this thing, you can flop the legs out on a table or a flat surface and use this as a tripod. It has a twist tight mount at the top. It's extendable to about, I don't think it's 3 feet, maybe just under 3 feet. I'll put the specs on the screen so I'm not going by my crappy memory. But I think I'm about halfway back to the truck. I'm actually thinking, man, it sure would be embarrassing if I got killed. But really, who's going to be embarrassed? I'll be dead, so. How embarrassing it would be to all that baloney about not being part of the herd. So I'm going to demonstrate. I'll find me a flat part up here, and I'm going to put this thing down as a tripod and show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to extend it out too. I think you can pretty much only do this on flat surfaces or surfaces that you can adjust, but I am going to do a walk by, which is one of my favorite things. But I'm going to do it on a selfie stick, which is kind of unusual if you think about it. So this is one of the cinematic things that I do. I'll walk by. And it can be very cinematic. But I think the main thing for me drive-bys because typically I'm riding by on my motorcycle. But I think, you know, having typically the videos that I've done in the past, and the other people, I noticed that other people do too, the videos that we all do, it's just a helmet mounted cam, boring riding down a road. Okay, every once in a while you see something amazing, but most of the time it's just it's almost like a security camera. You know, it gets to that point. I've seen people that post the entire journey. Like, I remember one of these guys that had a channel that I watched occasionally, but you know, I'd watch 5-10 minutes of his video and then I'd turn it off because it was like, oh geez, all right, you're gonna do the whole route. I mean, I saw the advantage for somebody that's hesitant, you know, especially off-road stuff. You want to know what's ahead of you. If you're hesitant, you want to know what to expect. You know, if you're crossing down trees and, you know, creek crossings and stuff like that, you kind of want to know what to expect, because you know, depending on your skill level, you don't want to get in over your head. Or you may, like me, you may go, hey, wow, that looks like a 6-hour route. I thought it was a 2-hour route. Maybe I should carry some more water. Or, man, before I go on that trail, I am going to make sure I got better knobbies. I don't want my tires spinning because, you know, the guy was crawling up some. But therein lies the problem. A helmet mounted camera, a bike mounted camera is only going to show you so much. It's going to show you kind of the rider's perspective, but not even that. You know, if you're climbing up a hill, you're looking straight up the hill. To most people, that looks relatively flat, so you never know what kind of angle you're sitting at. You never know what kind of an angle the cameraman is riding at. So to drop a tripod or hang a camera in a tree, that gives you so much more depth and perspective, and it also switches things up, which is kind of what I've learned that a while back. It's just it's a hard thing to do. Drive-bys take setup. You got to stop your bike, pull out another camera, mount it somewhere, click record, drive out away from the camera, drive back towards the camera, and if you're doing it right, the way I would, you're driving past the camera and the other direction. I have been known. That sounds like a tornado. At least like, wow. I'm in the middle of it too. It's just raining. Wow. I don't think I've ever heard rain come down like that. All right, I'm approaching the Whittleman. Let me get the food here. All right, talking about drive-bys, and now I'm in the middle of a drive-by. Wow, that made my heart race. Sounded a bit like a plane coming in for landing. What they always tell you when the tornadoes hit, sounds like a train. But I think maybe what I heard was the echo of the rain bouncing off the inside of my here. All right. So I tell you, I think I was talking about moving pockets. I'm almost back to the truck. So I was, before that massive rain hit, my beat widowmaker was very close. Look at that guy. I think I'm gonna cut up through there. There's too much wind. I don't want to be the guy. All right. So I can see the truck, but I did want to talk about my inspiration. Years ago, I watched Survivor Man, and I love what he did. And one of the things he did, and I studied him very well, one of the things he did consistently was drive-bys, or in his case, walk-bys. He would walk by the camera. He'd drop the camera, walk by it. Looked like, it looked like it was a camera crew maybe. He was sitting on the side of the road. So I took those cues. I love that. Well, that's so hard. All right. Maybe we've escaped most of the terror. But man, that was fun. Trying to brush, get that on extra. All right. Back in the car. So yeah, now that alert that just came back on after I got back in the truck is for my town, and I still think I'm in the same situation. I'm not really that concerned about. I do want to go by. There is just across the street from the house. There's a bunker. I think it's 3 bunkers built by the city of Brookwood. They probably got some kind of a grant from somebody. Anyway, the emergency siren, 150 yards from the house. Bunkers are, I don't know, 3 or 4 football fields away from the house, but you can run over there pretty quick. Or just get in your damn car. I wonder how many people are going to be over there. That's the question. I've never seen that many, I've never seen anybody in there other than the maintenance guy. Apparently they keep it fairly well maintained. Seems like there's a ventilation system in there. I mean, the last thing you want people to do is die inside of a bunker because it's so hot and humid. That may be part of the deal. I'm going to pull over into the park, the municipal park. That's where all the bunkers are. And I'm going to check the radar and see where the storm actually is, if I can. And depending on how many people are in the bunkers, I may or may not go in. Man, they've had plenty of warning. That's just dumbass. Shit. Woo! Now that was a good one. Alright, why the f did they close the gates? Why are the gates locked? Up, man. Wow. I mean, what's the point here? What's the freaking point? To lock all the gates and make people walk to the shelter? Or... Oh wow, look at that. This place is crammed full. How about that? Yeah, people hightailed it. I think maybe people in Brookwood have been rolled around in their homes before. Maybe that's why. They're doing landscaping or something. That's why they closed that side of the park up, I guess. I don't know. This makes it a little bit wow, there's a lot of flooding going on here.
You got anybody with you?
Nope.
Go up there and park and come back down here and get these.
I'm gonna turn around and go back. I just wanted to see how many people were there. I've never seen this bunker filled up.
Really, this is not the time for it. Go up there and turn around. This lane is the only line I got open. Let's get down here. Come on.
Well, that guy was a bit of a dick about it. I mean, you know, maybe I'm getting in his way, but I think everybody's here already, so. Turn around and get it on out of here. I ain't got time for this. I think that's what he said. All right, my friend. Gotta be a... I know everybody's terrified of the storm, except me. That's pretty funny. I'm back in the bus and I'm taking off my wet clothes, about to strip down out of these wet jeans, and I'm like, I need to pull up the weather map. The weather map comes up and it's this huge band of red that's right across where I'm sitting. And then just about that time I looked at the map, it's like the bus went and I'm like, I guess it's time to go to the basement. And I was like, and then it kind of calmed down again. I was like, let me look closer at so I zoomed in on the weather map, and the wind, the red spot had just moved through Brookwood. So I am looking at the tail end of it now, which is kind of funny. I gotta push these videos out. Ain't got time to be worried about no tornado hold up and no damn. I just think it's funny because I'm talking about you know, my disregard for warnings and tornadoes and all that stuff, and here I am going. Woo-hoo-hoo. Sadly, 3 people did lose their lives in this storm, so it was pretty deadly storm, as anything with high winds can potentially be. I don't mean to make light of tornadoes. I just thought it was kind of interesting, the storms that came through. Did a lot of damage, but nothing like some of the storms we've had before. So Anyway, I'm shocked that anybody's made it to this far into the video, but thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of the review of the cameras and the stabilization, and maybe my talking about selfie stick. I'm also going to do a review of the selfie stick that I used and compare it to some other selfie sticks in case you're shopping for equipment to make blogging / producing videos with your phone or camera or anything else. This is a really interesting stick that doubles as a tripod, but that video is coming up soon. So subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when the new videos come out. And I'll see ya next time.